Are you hiring right now in business? Are you hiring personnel? Have you made mistakes in hiring? If you haven't, you're probably on an island. What we want to talk about today is why high character staff trumps skill and how you can hire high character and train skill. I hope this video will bring you value as you're going through your organization and looking to beef up and expand. All right, so you might have heard this before, talent gets you in the door, but character keeps you there. So today I want to talk about why is it so important to hire character and train skill. We talk about the type of people that you're looking to bring into your organization. We all want an organization full of people with high character. I'm not saying it's easy, but today I want to give a few tips on exactly how to target that. Number one, when we talk about hiring character, the number one thing that pops out to me is integrity. Integrity is obviously doing the right thing, whether anybody's looking or not. So if that's your base, if you're coming into my organization and that's your base, I already love you. Why? Because we want to do the right thing. We want ideas that are about the right thing. We want movement that's about the right thing. We want a culture that's about the right thing. We want people that are about the right thing. So if you have that as your base, I'm already excited. And so when I think of integrity, I do want to break it down because I don't want these oversweeping words. And then you're like, well, like character's a big word, even though it can mean a lot of things. Integrity's a big word. It doesn't mean a lot of things, but let's get narrow and let's talk about what we're looking for when we say integrity. I'm looking for honesty. I'm looking for someone that always is telling the truth. There's nothing better than that. I remember being at a stage in my life where I didn't always tell the truth. I actually didn't like it, but I was so used to being good at it that I didn't know how to not do it. And I got to a place in my life where I'm like, line drawn, the truth is enough. And so I started getting into telling the truth. And I realized an honest life is like 1 trillion times easier to live. And so people who are honest, honesty doesn't mean you're mean, doesn't mean you're, I'm direct, I'm blunt. All right, got it. I'm just honesty. Core value, just you're honest. We can get into different types of that, but for this video, we're working on just honest. Morals. Are your morals intact? Do you have a moral compass? Is your moral compass pointed north? Are you thinking good things? Do you have a good foundation? And then ethics. Are you in line with the ethical things in life? Ethical codes, ethics. And all these things, when you have this person who has this character, you're going to do well. How do you find this? There's a lot of questions you can ask inside of an interview process. You can do a group interview with a couple members of your team, and you can have the interviewee who's looking to try to come inside your company. And you can also do different types of personality tests. There's a lot of things you can do to shine the light and kind of see where people are. Open-ended questions are also great. What type of things do you think about? When you think of success, what do you think of? All these things can help you find integrity. B, positive mental attitude. When I'm thinking about positive mental attitude, when I'm focused on hiring character, a person with a positive mental attitude is constantly looking to win. Constantly. Always have an outlook that's pointing north. Can brush stuff off. Can handle, things that most people look at as criticism. It's not that they're not semi-offended by the criticism. It's not that they're not taken aback, but they can swallow the pill and put a smile on their face. They can see the good in constructive criticism. They can see the fault in some of the things that might not be going perfect, because there is no perfect staff member. There is no perfect person in your organization. These people are always winning. They think winning thoughts. They smile a lot, and they're always looking to be a bright spot in the org, whether they're having a conversation, where they're saying hello. By the way, nothing's better than a joyful hello. I mean, like, we're here. We spend a lot of time here. Let's be joyful. And the positive mental attitude means when things go bad, they know how to see the good in it. When things aren't going well, they know how to see the good in it and turn it around. I love these kind of people. Positive mental attitude is a high character trait. C, empathy. I like these people. They understand the shoes of another person. They take time to think about what another person's going through. I've heard it said like this. The idea that, hey, these people had hours before I met them or saw them, and they're gonna have hours after. No matter what they say or do or don't do, I don't have to be a jerk. I can be understanding. I can be in it with them. And so these people always are uplifters of the organization. They are gap fillers for distractions. By the way, 70%, I heard this stat, you can go look it up and kill me if I'm wrong, 70% of the subconscious mind thinks negative thoughts. 70%. So if 70% of the mind on a day-to-day basis thinks negative thoughts, how many opportunities for distractions do you think there are? If you look at our devices, there's just so many opportunities for distractions. Some positive, some negative, some neutral. But someone with empathy is constantly filling the gap and helping people get back on track, helping people understand the value they bring and how they can help push through a bad hour, a bad morning, a bad day. Because we're always trying to move people along. We're always trying to get them to their spot. We're always trying to get them back on track. We're always trying to help them understand, what's inside of them, the keys that they still have to use to unlock doors. And someone with empathy is constantly fitting themselves inside the shoes of another person. And letter D, capacity. I gotta be honest with you. I remember the first time I started hearing this word in the workforce, and I was talking to a guy, and he goes, I've got capacity. He's talking about his ability to handle a lot and move a lot and still, grow while he's moving. And I thought that was pretty strong. And when I think about capacity and I think about the individuals that have capacity, I know I said I love these people, but these are high character traits. I love people with capacity because they recognize they have capacity and they act like they have capacity. There's a difference between someone who recognizes that they have capacity and won't do anything with it, and someone who recognizes they have capacity and acts like they have capacity. Meaning like, give me the problems, give me the weight, give me the ability to create, to move, to shape, to create solutions. Give me more. So these people are the kind of people that are always lifting weights, pushing stuff around, making stuff happen, always finding solutions, always digging up potential opportunities and risk for the company, always finding ways to mitigate disaster, always. They come in multiple different shapes, forms, and sizes in different departments. Your salespeople with high capacity are constantly knocking down the door, constantly breaking records, constantly doing, and this trait is remarkable because these people are saying, I have to grow. Please, if there's no growth here, I have to go. Love you. Because we should be creating an environment where people can grow boundlessly. And so these people are starving. They bring growth mindset. They allow for all these character traits to illuminate themselves when you find someone with capacity. And so understand that this is what we're looking for. We don't always get this, by the way. So listen, but if we fill an organization with these kind of people, with these kind of traits, oh, it's a wrap. Oh, the places we can go. We can do all kinds of things. But just understand, we don't always get this. And sometimes we thought we got this and we didn't. Cool, no problem. We got to decide what we want to do. That doesn't mean they're all fired. It just means maybe they need to go into a different part of the organization. Maybe they need to be, we need to create a different role. Maybe there is a role that's perfect for what they do. But if we could bring this into our organization, we've got a real shot to win and win big. All right, as we're going through these points here, you know, when we think of character, the next thing I got to talk to you about is like, why would we hire character? When you hire high character and positive attitude, your organization tends to explode. I can think of Herb Kelleher, the co-founder and CEO of Southwest Airlines. Guy was a genius, but he believed that hiring high character and positive attitudes far beat experience and all this other nonsense. And the truth is they would test you, but they were looking for humorous people who are hardworking, fun. They wanted a fun atmosphere. And so they would test people. They would bring them into interviews. And even in a group interview, they would drop a pen on the floor. That wasn't like they did that by mistake. They did that on purpose. It was an innocuous act of basically testing you to see if you had the fortitude or the mindset or the givingness or the service enough to pick up the pen and hand it back. If you did, you actually passed the test. They wouldn't tell you, they just knew about it, but you passed the test because it showed that you were a person of character that was looking to help the organization above and beyond small things. Another part of the interview process was they'd ask you to tell a story about yourself. Tell me a story about you. What does that show? It shows, are you humorous? Can you self-deprecate? Are you too serious? Can you joke? Typically when people can have humor with themselves, they can self-deprecate, they can talk about themselves and not take themselves overly seriously. What happens is you realize that, dude, they can adapt inside of a fun, exciting environment. And so that's a great way to kind of pinpoint a characteristic trait, what we're talking about, and how it translates into the organization. And when we talk about the translation into an organization, the first thing that comes to mind to me is teamwork. And so when we start looking at some of these character traits, we look at how it fosters a team environment, how it creates the ability for team members to think, oh, I gotta watch their back. I gotta help them out. I can come over here and let me give them some time today because it looks like they're struggling. Let's go to lunch. Let's do all these things. And when we think about teamwork, team bonding experiences, things you can do. But when we do team bonding experiences at my company, it's exciting, it's fun. Why? We find a way to work time with each other into our week-to-week basis, month-to-month basis. Now, there's departments people work together all the time, but it's not cliquey because we get together a lot and we show teamwork, department to department, cross-utilization of skills, and it's really awesome. This can happen in any organization, but when we hire for character, it's easier. B, service. Why do I want service? I want high customer service. I want people to be people of service. I don't like just saying customer service because service wraps customer service in it. But service means you're always willing to give. You're always looking to help with the problem. You don't think it's too important to not pick up the pen. You don't think it's too important to not pick up garbage on the floor. You don't think it's too big for you. You start being a person of service, you're no longer renting. You're owning. When you own, what do you do with your property? You take care of it. When you rent, something gets a problem, you don't really care as much. It's not yours. But we want people that have ownership, and I think service, a core of service takes place when you start hiring these high character people of integrity, positive mental attitude, and so forth. C, these people become culture carriers. People who have high character, people with high capacity, people that are just excited to be here, they have an attitude of gratitude, they become culture carriers. And by the way, we know cultures is your values and behaviors mixed. Well, I love my values. All companies should love their values, and all companies should want the right behaviors taking place in their organization. And when those mix, we have our culture. And then we can define our culture however we see it. But we have our culture. Culture's happening whether you force it to happen, you give it structure, or whether You don't force it to happen, and it has no structure. By the way, I've done both. The one with structure works 10 times better than the one with no structure, but it's happening anyway. And so when we set it up right, when we bring in the right people, they become the carriers of your behaviors and your values. Leadership development. Boy, do I love this. These are your high capacity people, but these leadership development starts to just become innate in your organization. You have hand raisers that want more. You have people that are saying, hey, put me on this leadership track. Yes, I want to strive for management. Yes, I'm looking to grow. Yes, I'm looking to do these things. Yes, I'm willing to put an extra hand in. Yes, I'm willing to meet these deadlines to get projects. What happens is you're developing leaders layer by layer by layer by layer. And all of a sudden you have people vying for promotions that deserve to be promoted because they're doing all the things well, they're carrying the culture, they're people of high character, and because they have innate willingness to want to grow and high capacity, you create your own leadership development program by mistake. And nothing gets me more excited than E, a team of executioners. They're killers. They understand that things need to get done. They understand deadlines. They have can-do attitudes. They find a way. They dot I's. They cross T's. They don't look to make excuses. These people love you. When I think of a team of executioners, I think back to this book I read called Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. The very first chapter was so explicit, but what you saw in that chapter was a blue on blue fire, where a person died from their own friendly fire. And Jocko, I'm gonna sum it up, was playing it back. His direct reports were coming in to see what went wrong, and he was gonna be before his men and the people above him. And he's like, what could it have been? Who screwed it up? Why was it this guy? Why wasn't it this guy? And he's thinking, and he finally gets to the meeting where he has to figure out what he's going to say to these guys. And he looks around at his team and he says, whose fault was it that this blue on blue took place? And guy gets up and says, it's my fault. I could have done such and such. Another guy says, no, it's my fault. I should have been blah, blah, blah. Next guy, it's my fault. Jocko says, appreciate everybody, looking to own up and take responsibility for this. But you know whose fault it was? It was mine. I was the guy in charge. And that's how executioners think. It's on me. I'm not looking to find excuses. And by the way, what makes him an executioner, even though he was looking for everyone to blame, all the things that went wrong that was not his fault, when he looked in the mirror, he said, I'm in charge. That means I'm in charge of this whole operation. If something in the operation goes wrong, it's on me. And when he fessed up to that and took extreme ownership, he kept his job. He won the trust of his men, all the things. But these guys, they find a way. They have can-do attitudes. And so these are high character people, but this is the result of what happens when you start bringing high character people into your team. The third thing we want to talk about is training skill. When you train skill, so we hire for character, but we train skill. The amount of intellectual property in the CEO is a lot. They may not know every single button to push and bell to ring, but they have a team of people that do. And so we can train skill. Hey, how do you think we got here? How do you think the first employee got hired and trained? The founder trained them. How do you think we got here? And so even if wherever you're at, you got departments, you got department heads, you got managers, you got directors, whatever your deal is, we can train the skill. I'm so comfortable training this caliber of person I'm actually out of my mind to train this character or person. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is like me in a candy store as a child. Because the training part's simple. We have the intellectual property, and guess what? We're getting more intellectual property when we bring these people in. We're getting way more, because they bring it. And there's nothing like it. Gotta say, ladies and gents, when we hire characters, it's simplistic to train skill. Understand the training part gets simple when you have these kind of people. If any of these tools helped you on how to hire high character people and keep them in your organization while training skill versus hiring skill and experience and trying to develop character, I hope that you subscribe. We're looking for more and more people to get this information. We're just trying to bring value to the community. We just want to help you as an entrepreneur or in your small business and bring value to you. Please comment in the comment section. Some of you have had amazing experience hiring high character people. Some of us have had complete duds. I've been on both sides. I'd love to hear your story of what you've done to maybe develop from low character or what you did to advance high character. We appreciate you so much. We just want to bring value. I hope it helps. God bless you.